my name is Rage, and welcome to day 2 of the Paradox Interactive Convention. Yes, indeed, I don't need to spend ages waxing lyrical about the introduction today, due to you having heard it yesterday, and if you didn't watch, not yesterday, that's a complete lie, on Monday, and if you didn't watch it on Monday, well, yeah, see yourself out. I'll give you a few seconds. I'm completely serious. This is awkward, so can you stop staying? I'd like to continue the... Okay, sweet! Okay, so, like yesterday, we started the day by rolling on up. They see me. I don't know where I'm going with this, and I'm just going, you know, this is supposed to be the most professional of my videos, and basically I spend 40-50 seconds just messing the fuck around. So we got to the convention on day 2. Day 2 was the final day, by the way. We had 5 more games to be shown this day. The first game was Empire that we got to play. We got a talk on it and then 8-hour session. And Empire, ladies and gentlemen, is joint the best thing I saw at that convention. It's fantastic, and I will tell you the reason for this. If any of you have ever played Dungeon Keeper 1 or 2 and loved the hell out of them, and was gutted when you found out there will be no Dungeon Keeper free, apart from obviously the Kickstarter that just happened, but you know what I'm saying. Empire is the game for you. This game is coming out on the 14th of February, and I suggest you pre-order that bitch and get the extra content because it's fantastic. It literally, you control your own dungeon, you choose rooms, build corridors, summon minions, you have your own hero unit called Baal, it's B-A-A-L, you know, it's fine. You control the demon of Baal Abaddon as he attempts to rebuild his mighty Hellspawn form. Basically, he grows as he goes through the game, and it's all awesome. If you play Dungeon Keeper, you know how it's going to work. Heroes invade your dungeon, you fight them off, you do various missions. Basically, an inept sorcerer summons you, names you Death Slayer. By the way, the sense of humor and voice acting in this game is fantastic. They have a famous comedian voicing the imp, who I can't tell you who he is, but it's great. It really is. It's so important in a game like this, and the voice acting and the banter back and forth between the characters is phenomenal. So yes, you take control of this imp, you order your workers and warriors to do your bidding, build trading rooms, build food farms. I mean, I only got to play it for an hour, so I don't know, but that hour made me want to play it loads. Fights in this game have actual tactics instead of the horde mentality and just watch of Dungeon Keeper. There is a lot of good improvements on this game from Dungeon Keeper that I really like. The single only gripe I have when compared with Dungeon Keeper is that you just place rooms as a block, they get dug out and made into rooms. A lot like its Evil Genius taken a little bit further, instead of just digging out an area and placing tiles down. And it's just a different way of doing things, and it's fine, it's still awesome, it still feels very much like Dungeon Keeper. And you can also send your armies to do surface missions in this game, terrorize the locals on the surface, and just create awesomeness. And also, apart from heroes spawning in through a hero gate, they also can drop down on ladders and just generally invade your dungeon. That way you have spells, summon imps, you know, lightning strikes, all what you'd expect in this game. It's just fantastic. And before I continue going on, here is a trailer. Okay, so now that you've seen the trailer, you know what it's kind of about after I just, you know, spent ages talking about it. Probably should have done that the other way around, but, you know, who cares? It's not that important. It was imperative that I make some sort of impulsive pun about imps, so yeah. But yes, you dig your own dungeon, you kill heroes, you recruit a vast array of creatures. There's two races, the Hellspawn and the Soulless. The Soulless like ethereal beings, Hellspawn are like demons. Each unit can be upgraded twice, which does upgrade its visuals and abilities, which is awesome. You get to attack the surface of Ardania. It's set in a universe which I hadn't heard of. If Ardania means anything to you, then extra good for you for this game. You unlock like item cards, which built like a deck of playing cards that's your playing style, and then there's campaign, solo, co-op mode, and versus online, and it's all just fantastic. If you like Dungeon Keeper, or you like strategy, you like base building, you liked Evil Genius, you just games like that, get this game. Fantastic. 14th of February, there it is. Alright, now that was by far the best thing of the day that happened out of the way. Okay, so the next game that we went to see was Hearts of Iron East versus West. Now this was another grand strategy game, and as such is something that I couldn't quite get my head around. Again, I've told you yesterday while showing you Europa Universalis that I don't know, I just kind of can't get into these type of games, and this is a Cold War game with a doomsday clock, and you have to play and hope it doesn't get too high. And the cool thing about this game, actually, that I did kind of like, and by the way, it's coming out in Q2 2013, going to be $30, or whatever that converts to in your area. But yes, you can go nuclear in this game, and fire nukes at various people, and generally obliterate the land, and just make it a desolate wasteland. And you can, you know, relive certain points in history throughout the entire Cold War. Obviously, there's multiplayer. You know, you really get a feel of the arms race. There's spying. You know, it's world dominance. That's what you're doing. And there's diplomacy, and there's like the UN in the game, and just lots of various things like that. If you are a grand strategy fanatic who likes Cold War, this is going to be for you completely. It looks very in depth from the play session that I was shown while in the talk. And again, if you like this stuff, I can see you enjoying it. But on a personal level, I just can't see myself getting into these types of games. And honestly, if I was going to get into one of these games, it would be Europa Universalis 4, because that's, you know, like the main one. But that was East vs West, a Hearts of Iron game, all about the Cold War, and basically bombing the shit with nukes out of everyone on the map, including your friends in multiplayer. Okay, so the next game that we saw was actually another grand strategy game by the name of the March of the Eagles. Now this one actually was the most interesting strategy game that I saw the entire time. And before I go into it, here is the trailer.
Mes amis, the time has come for war. Our Emperor Napoleon is calling upon your services in the war game March of the Eagles. Naturally, we will choose to play the Grande Nation of France led by our great Napoleon. First off, we will invade that silly island of shopkeepers and use our fleet to... Merde! I mean, neither we nor Napoleon wanted to invade that petty island anyway. We will show those Austrians instead. They have plenty of things we desire. Mon Dieu, that was ridiculously easy, I must say. Well, then we can go to Prussia and free our Polish friends. Maintenant, we will go and attack Russia, because we now know exactly what we did wrong the last time. And impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. With the strength from our Napoleonic genius, France will not fail in the wargame March of the Eagles from Paradox Development Studio. Vive la France!
Okay, so March of the Eagles is what is supposed to be an introductory grand strategy game to the grand strategy genre. It's like a dip your toe in the water, have a try, see what you think, maybe you'll like to go further. It only costs $20 to that end. It's coming out in Q2 2013, and basically this game is all about fighting, military conquest, taking control, and it does it rather well. The trading, the diplomacy, those aspects are vastly lowered. You could play as any country, but you should play as one of the main 8 powers. You start in an age, and you have to command your empire to victory by moving your units, strategizing with types of units, the terrain, everything, and conquering 8 designated provinces that are your victory conditions. Basically, whoever you start as, let's say Austria, Spain, England, France, they're 4 of the main powers, you are given a target of 8 sections of land controlled by other people. Sometimes you start with a few, that once you capture all of them, that is your victory condition. I mean, you also have to win by land and sea dominance, which is another thing. But yes, and the mainly really cool thing about this game, okay, apart from, you really feel like you are commanding troops on a battlefield, the only thing stopping me from playing this game is that when units meet, as I said with Europa, there's no actual fighting, it's just numbers coming off each other, which I just don't like. There needs to be some sort of visual engagement for me, even if I'm just watching a battle. Like, at least Civ has them fight each other a little bit. That's the only thing I have against these games. But what the best idea in this game, strangely enough, is the idea system. Basically, when you fight an enemy, you gain idea points whether you won or lost, and you can spend those idea points on unlocking new battle strategies and tactics which come into play when you attack an enemy army. Now, the unique thing about the system is that you earn a lot more idea points when you lose a battle than when you win, because obviously the losers are like, what the hell happened there? We need to do some serious thinking on this. And the winners are like, well, we won. Hell no, we're not going to revise our strategy, which was a really neat mechanic, and I really did like the look of that. But apart from that, it is another grand strategy game. Definitely the one I probably would most play if I didn't go with Europa, because it's a nice introductory game, and it does have kind of a Europa with everything but the combat aspect, stripped away kind of feel to it. So that is March of the Eagles. Now, this video is not going to be nearly as long as yesterday, because there is only 2 games left to talk about, although knowing me that I've just said that, it's going to end up being. So, the next game that we were shown was Cities in Motion 2. Now, this game, okay, now, I love Paradox, I have to say, and a lot of their games are great, and even the grand strategy, which I don't personally like, I can see is objectively good. This game, I have the most problem with. Cities in Motion 2 is effectively a public transport simulator. Yeah, that's what I thought when I first heard it as well. You control a city, and your objective in the game is to earn money by plotting bus routes, train routes, waterboat routes, and watching people from the city get on your transport, travel around, and get off, and you just keep doing that over and over and over and earning money, and that's basically the entire gameplay. Okay, so I apologize for the cough. That will not be edited out because I'm lazy. Fun times for everyone in the world. But yes, it's going to be $20. It's a simulator, obviously. It comes out in 2013, and I guess if you're into public transport, this shit is for you. No finer game experience. It's just, I cannot understand how anyone who is into gaming could have more fun playing Cities in Motion 2 that's basically plotting bus routes than, say, any other game going. And I don't like saying that because it feels so close-minded of me, and maybe it is. Maybe there's an audience out there, maybe some of you guys really like the original and are looking forward to Cities in Motion 2, but I just cannot for the life of me grasp it. I really can't. For everyone interested, they have added dynamic cities now, which actually seem kind of cool. Basically, you build roads and the city grows in the formation that you are making it. Your actual choices affect the city of the growth. You've got day and night cycles. Now, the last thing I need to say about, obviously you've got sandbox and a campaign mode, somehow you can campaign with it, but there you go. The one thing I have to say is this game looks really nice. Like, the actual graphics of it are really cool. Now, I'm going to play the trailer right now, and after it I've got a little story which I have to tell you because it's amusing to me, although a little bit embarrassing. But yes, here's the trailer. Okay, so you may have noticed during the trailer it said 3 things. The first one was New Cities, which is, really cool. New Cities, that's awesome. The next one is all new forms of transport, which at the time in the presentation of watching I was like, new forms of... But that was demanded. You needed that water skis because then buses and trains just weren't enough. So, yeah, that happened. And then the third thing happened, where it said, now with timetables. And I'll be honest, when that came up, I burst out laughing, and I don't like admitting that, because that was rather rude of me. I admit it, I immediately regretted it, but I could just literally not help myself. And in my defense, whenever I mention this story to any of the Paradox employees who weren't actually working on the game, they also found it hilarious. So that is my get out of jail free card here, and I apologise to the developers of this game if you are watching, but please tell me you can understand why that would be funny to someone like me who just cannot get my head around why you would play this game. But yes, Cities Motion 2, that's what that is. If you played the first one, I suppose you'll love this one. That's really all I have left to say on this game. I've just cost myself my next year's invite, haven't I? Damn. Alright, so the final game of the day was a streaming live session on War of the Roses Kingmaker Edition. We got 2 hours of the stream, had team battles. I was on my team, Angry Joe was on his team. We had various rounds. I was representing Yorkshire, repping my Yorkshire boys. Can't believe I just said that. And of course we smashed the Lancashire like 5-4, or however many. I know we won, that's all I'm saying. And War of the Roses is... Now that I've finally played it, I can finally talk about... First of all, I'll talk about War of the Roses in general, and then compare it to the infamous Chivalry, of which the developer himself was like, yeah, it gets compared quite a lot, I'm going to be honest with you. So yes, War of the Roses, now that I've played it. I have to say, the customization in the game is awesome. The fact that you can, like, really... go for your like armor setups, weapon setups, have different helmets, shields, bows. There's like all the different weapon categories, all with stats, and then in the weapons individually have loads of actual, like, just choose the metal the blade's made from, and the handle it has, you know, little things like that that are really cool. The customization in War of the Roses is fantastic. We got given level 60 accounts with every single weapon unlocked, and it was all great. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to try out the mounted combat because we were only playing the brand new mode on the brand new map, and we didn't get to fight on actual horses, but that's okay. I imagine the horse gameplay is actually quite cool. The map we got to play on was a forest map with a few little houses and stones and fallen trees, and again, really nice looking game. The map was awesome, the trees rustling, the sound effects when an arrow goes past your head, it's all fantastic. The game modes itself, pitch battle, deathmatch, where you don't revive but you can be executed. In fact, the executing thing where you like jump on someone and stab them in the face repeatedly with your dagger, and on the person's screen they literally see you stabbing them in the face from that perspective, that is all really cool, and also reviving your teammates. And honestly, I had a really good fun time competing with each other. Now, this is where my negatives come in, okay? Because literally everything about War of the Roses, in my opinion, is better than Chivalry, except its combat. Now, I realise that is like a... Well, that's a pretty key feature in a medieval combat game, and I have to agree with you. The game modes are better, graphics I think are about on par with a slightly more atmospheric advantage to War of the Roses, and the maps are about the same, because it is a slightly different game, and the customization is far better in War of the Roses than it is in Chivalry. It's just the combat system. I cannot get myself past the combat system in War of the Roses. In Chivalry, it's just all like really visceral, high-paced action. You're swinging around, blocking, having really quick, fast-paced fights, chopping people's arms off. It's just glorious. Whereas in War of the Roses, you hold block and move your mouse left, right, up or down to block in that relative direction, and when you attack you hold left click down, up, down, left, right to attack in that relative direction, and obviously you can see how the blocks and attacks line up. Now in theory that seems like a really cool, skilled system, but what I found is that I was mostly fighting the combat of the game more than I was fighting the person who I was fighting. It felt like a battle of who could be less annoyed by the combat system while fighting each other as much as possible. Now, some might argue that the War of the Roses combat system is more skilled than Chivalry's, but I have to disagree with that. I think you cannot say something is more skilled just because it's more annoying to use, which is what is the impression I got from War of the Roses. Now, I fully admit it may be because I've just not played the game enough, and that's entirely possible. I only played it for 2 hours in a very limited mode. So I do want to give this game more tries, and I do want to see what it's all about, because obviously people like it, and I don't want to dismiss it, because, as I say, everything about the game, apart from the combat, really stood out to me as being awesome. The only other downside I do have to War of the Roses is that if I saw like 2 free enemies and I was by myself, I was like, fuck this, I need to run away, I need allies, I cannot beat 3 people by myself. Whereas in Chivalry, if I see 3 people, I'm like, let's do this, charge! Which obviously for me is a good thing, and I get that that's an objective thing. You might like that it's a more team-based, team-required thing than Chivalry's solo Rambo commander tearing through the ranks of noobs, which I like being the role of. So right now, from an objective sense, I think Chivalry's combat is better than War of the Roses, but War of the Roses, everything else is better than Chivalry. And then from an opinion standpoint, I just think Chivalry is a much more visceral, fun, fluid combat system, and therefore a much more fun game. I hope I've been fair to both sides there. I don't do critical review type stuff this as much, but let me know what you thought of the whole speech that I managed to reel off there. Okay, so that is actually it for day 2. I realised I got through this a lot faster, but I didn't have that much to say on any of the games apart from Empire and War of the Roses, whereas yesterday I had a lot to say on practically all of them. So yes, that is about it. That was day 2. The last video I have yet to bring you from the Iceland will be the general trick. The general trick! Watch as I make magic appear! No, the general trip itself. I will show you pictures, movies that I recorded by myself. By myself? I did it by myself! Are you proud, guys? Wow, that was a little bit weird. On my camera, that's going to be coming soon when I get time to editing that, but I just wanted to get the convention day videos out the way. In fact, let me know what you think of coverage like this. I would very much like to know if you would like future stuff like this. Future stuff like this in the future. That's where I was going there. That's where I was actually going there. I'm so good at life, you don't even know. Okay, my name has been Rage. Please remember to like, favourite, share. Also, I'll be doing Rage perspectives on Empire, Leviathan Warships, and Showdown Effect at the very least, and probably more gameplay on those 3. All the others, not very likely, but those 3 definitely to come. But my name has been Rage. Remember to like, favourite, share. I will see you all next time. That has been the convention done. What a fantastic experience it was. Goodbye.